Healing, talking about healing wounds and triggers. And I ran across this. I don't know who wrote it, but I'm grateful for the person that wrote it. And I read it, and it was like, oh my gosh, I gotta do a little video on this because it would be. I wish I would have found this months ago. How your triggers reflect your pain. If you get defensive when corrected, you got to heal from past criticisms. So you can go back and look at your life and your reaction to criticisms. If you panic when people pull away, that's from abandonment wounds. You need others to fulfill you when, steps to knowledge teaches you to fulfill yourself because you're coming back to your true self. If you hate to be ignored, you need to heal from childhood neglect. So, like my other videos on wounding, we got to go love on those children that were neglected, our inner children. If you overreact to small mistakes, heal from perfectionism rooted in shame. When I look at these and I read these, I can see them in my journey. And even now, before I transitioned so much, I would react to small mistakes. I'm always the one that has to go fix things, get it done. Oh, well, I'll just do it myself because nobody else is willing to step up to the plate. So, yeah, do I have some perfectionism? Yeah, I recognize that in myself, but I don't think it was rooted in shame. But then again, now I got to go look at that, right? And look at the ancestral line. I was hard on my children, like, because I want everything to be done the right way. So, but I was wise enough that, I knew I was doing that, and we all got counseling. And I gave them the tools to help themselves because I didn't have the tools to help all of us, not let alone myself. Not till I was 55 and found steps. So if you feel anxious when others are upset, then you heal from walking on eggshells growing up. Did you have to walk on eggshells? Well, we could never tell my mom's mood if she was going to flip out and freak out or, what she was going to do. So you tend to walk on eggshells in relationships. And that's not right. It shouldn't be that way. And if you have to, then, the relationship has to be addressed. Boundaries have to be set. If you fear saying no, you heal from a people pleasing and rejection trauma wounds. I have no problem saying no. If you get jealous easily, then you got to heal from low self worth and comparison wounds. So we all have these negative aspects to ourselves. It's how much do they rule our life? Or is there wounds there that we need to heal so they don't rule our life? If you shut down in conflict, heal from unsafe past environments where speaking up led to harm or, personal attacks. Like, not physical, I'm talking verbal. So, I'm a fierce warrior, but you got to choose your conflicts, right? And, silence, it can be deadly. So let them carry on. I knew what was going on. I knew what God's plan was. Yeah, I had times where I lost hope and stuff like that. You have to pick your right moment to speak up, especially if it's just going to be your what you speak is just going to be lost in the chaos and the drama and the noise of what she's doing. No, that would have fed right into her plan, you see. So if you crave constant reassurance, heal from insecurity and past betrayals. I don't need anybody's reassurance or validation. I can validate myself. Steps to knowledge and the wisdom books of the new message, they address all this stuff. But until I started wound healing, and I mean, I was a student for 14 years before I did that. I thought, oh, yeah, okay. I looked at past relationships. I could look at the behavioral patterns and understand why my mother acted that way. But I didn't really go deep enough to heal the wounds. And I'm hoping, students of the new message do the healing sooner on their journey than me waiting 14 years. But I had to learn all this stuff. This was a fast education for me. But I read this and I thought, yeah, I could see these triggers in me before my old self. And I may overreact. I may still have aspects of that pop up, but the negative emotions are muted in me now. They don't overtake me. They just sit low grade in the solar plex and they niggle me. But I want these are really good skills, and I'll put it in the description to sit and look at when you're wound healing. It's important to understand that if we're triggered, it comes from a wound. So if somebody says something and you get all defensive, that's because you maybe were criticized too much when you were a child. Most of our wounds come from the root chakra, which is the first 10, 12 years. That's where most of our wounds come from. So you have to go back and look at those experiences, and maybe love on that little kid and say, you know what, you didn't deserve that, and that's just their opinion and it doesn't really matter because you're not like that. you know or maybe there's an area of your life that you have to clean up or work on, and somebody's criticized you about it, but you could see that, yes, I have that. So you got to go look at the criticism. I'll be doing that tonight. I'll be going with my little kid and loving on that little kid and nurturing them for these triggers. Whether I've healed them or not, I can, there's always levels and layers to everything. Yeah, so it's something that I thought would be important because it feels important to me. And the more healing I do, the lighter I get, and then the triggers don't bother you, right? You're not triggered. They don't overtake you. It- The new message, God's new message, has such a different. It's got a 40,000 foot view. It's got the angelic understanding and perspective. But humanity is really waking up. It's a time to balance the dark and light, and to take out the corruption in the world. And this is going to draw attention to the Masonic Eastern Dark Star cult, which trigger these wounds. They like to project energy to trigger these wounds in people they're targeting. So the more you can heal, the less they can target you. Steps to knowledge is a pathway. There's finding knowledge. There's so many revelations on knowledge that gives you a greater understanding of what this power is, because it's hard to describe, and you could speak on it forever. Like, I can't control it. No. And it comes through in the moment when you need it in any conflict. It's a peacemaker. I've witnessed it. Someone was triggered and criticizing me in a loud voice, and knowledge just said one thing out of my mouth, and that was it. Just you could see the energy diffuse. So it was like I didn't even have a clue how that happened, but I observed it. It was just like it comes through. Sometimes my husband will come out with a saying, and it like there was one like it transitioned me right there what he said, and it was just I recognize that it's knowledge and wisdom coming, you know, sources utilizing him to help me heal, and something, But I always point that out to the person if that happens with me, to like my granddaughters or my husband or my daughter. I'll be like, yeah, see, I needed to hear that because knowledge wanted me to understand this, and so I don't keep it to myself. I share. Thank you for that insight. I recognize that knowledge flowed through you, and I just looked at my husband and I was just like, I never thought I would transition. Like, bang, right there, something shifted in me. I could feel it. So it's very fascinating, the journey, to be observant of it. And no, I'm not an alien, not a clone, not a hybrid. I'm just me, a human being that's reclaimed my divinity. So, and today is May 30th. Wait and see. Oh, 29th, the 29th today of March. Nope, May 2026. Yeah, good energy day.